Hello and welcome to another edition of UFO Video Addicts. Let me give you a preview of what I got coming up in this video. The first is a strange transparent object seen flying past the International Space Station. Also have another video released by the military of a strange craft taken on a pilot's heads-up display. Let's see, this is a video about this small town in Japan that is considered a UFO hotspot. Apparently the people around there are getting a lot of sightings and they've decided to try and make it like a tourist spot. Let's see, this is from Stephen Greer's UFO Disclosure Project when he first came on the UFO scene in 2001. Again, I understand what, the controversy of the things that he does now, but this is when he first came out. And this is a clip of Clifford Stone discussing the 57 different species, alien species that our government has recorded, and the over 70 different types of crafts. Also have this video here about, also have this video here about the JFK assassination and the possibility that he was taken out because he was asking questions about UFOs. Here's a video of a possible dinosaur sighting. And I'm not making any claims whether this is real or not, but that's just what the video says. Of course, the link will be in the description so you can watch it and come to your own conclusions. Let's see, this is an article about a supposed response that we got when we sent out a probe. I think it was Carl Sagan sent out a probe, with a binary message about who we were. And this is one of the messages that were found in crop circles next to the device that was used to send out the message. And again, in here, it's supposed to be some message written in binary code. Also have this article here about a nuclear technician details serious security breaches involving UFOs and high strangeness at U.S. nuclear bases. And then last is this article here about some strange structures that were found on the moon. So anyways, let's go to this first one. Let me go full screen. Now up here in the upper right corner, right under this NASA symbol here, you're going to see something transparent. Like this is part of something that slowly flies past the International Space Station. Anyways, check this out. You see, I believe right over here is where an astronaut is working, doing a spacewalk, and then this thing flies by. But anyways, let's keep going. Yeah, you can see the astronaut here, but I'm not seeing that thing moving by anymore. But anyways, a link to this will be in the description. Let's go to this next video here. I found this on Reddit. This is another video released by the military. Now I'm going to play this whole thing out because again, this is Reddit, and a lot of times these videos disappear. But near the end, you're going to see this thing flip over to the side and then zoom off screen. Well, did you see that? That's called a UFO maneuver. The way it was explained to me is that this little maneuver that they do when it turns on its side, there's supposedly some gravity generators down here at the bottom. and they're able to bend space. Like wherever they want to go to, they can bend or bend that point in space to the craft, attach the craft to that point, and then when they release, it basically stretches back and takes the craft to wherever they want to go, which is why it's able to look like it's moving so fast. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but anyways, check out this video. Link will be in the description. This is an interesting video about this little town that is a hotspot, and our planet has a number of hotspots, and it's not because like all of these different aliens who come to visit, there's like a sign that says, this is where you have to show up. If there are UFO hotspots, it's most likely their flight corridors. Just like we have flight corridors here on our planet for our airports, apparently our underwater neighbors also have certain flight corridors. It may be based on some type of magnetic anomaly or phenomenon that's going on certain parts of the Earth. But anyways, let's just check out a little bit of this.
Right now we're heading to the contact deck, and this is where we can come into contact with UFOs and aliens.
ここもちょっと地場が来るよっていう。
そうなんですか。はいはい。なぜこの千貫森は特に UFO のエネルギーを持つっていうふうに知られてるんですか？
なんかこの千貫森自体が地場が強くて、でその UFO 自体のそのエネルギーにしてるんじゃないかとか、地場が引き寄せてるんじゃないかとかいうことで、千貫森が UFO の基地なんじゃないかとかっていう話もありまして、で多いんじゃないかなっていうふうに。
その UFO を目撃するのには何か特別なパワーとかスキルとか必要なんですか？
まあ信じることじゃないですか。
Over the last few years, a lot of people, including governments, are taking UFO encounters more seriously. In 2020, a Pentagon report detailed 143 sightings of aerial objects that can't be explained.
Good, 144, that's ridiculous. There's so many more sightings than that. But anyways, I don't want to play too much of this video. The link will be in the description. Check it out. Let's see. This is the video of the disclosure project that took place on, what was it, November 9th, 2001, I think it was, at the National Press Club. But in this little clip, it's Clifford Stone talking about the number of aliens that our government has categorized and the different types of craft, and the number and the different types of crafts they've also categorized. But anyways, check this out.
I could, but it would probably take a whole lot of time. The reason I state that, when I got out in 1989, we had cataloged 57 different species. You have individuals that look very much like you and myself that could walk among us and you wouldn't even notice the difference, except for some of the things that they might be able to go ahead, even in a dark room, and touch an object and go ahead and identify what color that object might be. They would have a heightened sense of smell, sight, hearing. The situation is that you have various types of what we normally call grays. We didn't call them grays in the military, but you had at least 3 types of the grays. You had some that were much taller than we were. The unique thing that I'd like to point out for the most part is that the entities that we did catalog were in fact humanoid. Now this created a situation where the scientific community was trying to figure out why that would be the case, because you would expect that if life evolved on other planets, that they would take on some type of other being, so to speak, not necessarily look humanoid or be bipedal such as we are. But apparently we got quite a few of the species out there that are humanoid in appearance, and that creates a question that yet has to be answered by science.
Anyways, let me stop that right there. Now remember, this thing came out in 2001 at the National Press Club in front of the entire world's media. And it was in the newspaper the next day, but then shortly after that is when 9/11 happened. So this was, quickly forgotten about. But still, this took place over 20 years ago. So if this wasn't disclosure back then, what do you consider disclosure? right? Again, there are still, some of these crybabies out there screaming about, oh, when the government discloses, when the government, what is this? And not only this, but all the television shows that have been out, right? If you have cable, Ancient Aliens in the History Channel, I mean, is that not disclosure? Is all the reports and all the whistleblowers coming out and revealing what they know, is that not disclosure? Again, and if you're the type who is still asking for disclosure, if you're waiting for a lying politician to tell you that aliens are real, it's because you're institutionalized, which is just a nice way of saying that you're a sheep brain. But anyways, let's go on to this next one. This is a video about the possibility that JFK was assassinated because he was asking too many questions about the UFO subject. No, let's see, when was he taken out? In 63? And a few years before that, in the 1960s and 1961, there were a number of UFO sightings that they talk about in here. And they also mention how the CIA was created as a result of all the UFO sightings. But let me just play a little bit of this.
And deceased. This clandestine group at the highest echelons of the military-industrial complex began to exercise secrecy even from duly elected presidents. They coveted this power and possible exclusive access to back-engineered alien technologies. Then, in 1963, all hell broke loose. JFK made a deal through back channels with Russian leader Nikita Khrushchev to enter into a joint mission to the moon and other space exploration endeavors. This agreement was later confirmed by Khrushchev's son, Sergei. Kennedy believed the surest way to peace must be cooperation and coordination in space. JFK then directed the head of NASA, James Webb, to institute his policy of a joint space venture with Russia, as well as extensive information sharing.
Good. Let me just stop that right there. I don't want to play too much of this guy's video. You have to go to his channel to check it out. But one thing I want to, point out, when people like JFK, right, leaders of that stature, when they're assassinated, right, there's any number of ways that the people who take them out can take them out. They can take them out, clandestinely, like, make it look like an accident, poison them or something like that. But anyways, they can make it look like an accident, like it wasn't a quote-unquote assassination. Or they could do it in public, in front of the entire world on national television. And when they do it that way, they are sending a message to any other world leader, whoever decides, to go the route that Kennedy did, which is why Bill Clinton made that statement that he didn't want to push too hard because they didn't, he didn't want what happened to Kennedy to happen to him. So things like that, by the military-industrial complex or by our bankers, it's to make sure that our quote-unquote leaders stay in line. But anyways, a link to this will be in the description. This video, I'm not too sure if it's real or not, but apparently somebody caught a photo of a dinosaur. Here, I think this is the original photo.
Scientific Journal. An image of Piscosaurus aprilis while transiting at high speed a wooded area. The animal belonged to a new species to be included in a group that was believed extinct for many decades.
Here, let me just stop this one here. One thing that she said, it was going at high speed. This doesn't look like a high speed photo to me. I mean, if this thing was moving at high speed, these trees or the creature would be a little more out of focus, right? I'm not seeing any movement in here. I'm just seeing an out of focus image of something, but whether that thing was real or moving, I'm not too sure. But I've been wrong before, so I'll leave the link in the description, and you can check out the video and make up your own, come to your own conclusions. Anyways, this is an interesting article about this message that was supposedly sent from some alien species. Maybe these people are from another planet, but in this circle thing is supposed to be some kind of a binary code that talks about, not trusting certain people. Anyways, let me just play this and hear what you have to say.
This crop circle appeared in 2002, in a field near Crabwood, UK. Yes, it's real, it's been filmed and documented in the crop circle archives. So, it happened, regardless of who you believe made it. It's ridiculously precise, like many others, and contains a humanoid face but looks like a version of the typical gray alien. It also includes a hand with fingers, and in the hand is a disc with a binary code, as well as 3 points in alignment over the being's right shoulder that may represent the constellation of Orion, Orion's belt. This photograph was taken by Lucy Pringle, as well as this one, but it was viewed by many. Here's a close-up of the binary circle. Richard Taylor, a physicist at the University of Oregon, is one of several academics to take interest in the crop circle phenomenon within recent years. Unfortunately, his is the only work that seems to be published in a serious peer-reviewed scientific manner.
Let me see if I can find where it actually talks about the message that was in there. Wait, here it is. This is the message. Beware the bearers of false gifts and broken promises, much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. Yeah, that's supposedly the message that's in this little binary code here. But anyways, link will be in the description. Check it out. Let's check out this article here about this nuclear technician details serious security breaches involving UFOs and high strangeness at U.S. nuclear bases. Adrian Reister was stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base between 2003 and 2007. During his time at the base, Adrian witnessed glowing orbs in the sky, and in one of these instances, nuclear weapons were being transported. On a separate occasion, Reister witnessed and chased a shadow person which somehow managed to enter the highly guarded base. Such incidents involving shadow people have previously been reported at Area 2 in Nevada, a reported nuclear facility. Due to the culture that may persist within the U.S. Air Force to this day, such events were not reported to senior officials, meaning the Air Force may not be aware of serious security breaches. A former nuclear weapons technician has gone on the record for the first time to speak about disturbing security incidents he encountered at a U.S. Air Force base, which stores nuclear weapons. While stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri between 2003 and 2007, Adrian Reister claims to have witnessed 2 incidents involving unidentified aerial phenomenon entering restricted airspace above the base and a serious security breach involving a shadow person who Reister chased within the base. Due to the lack of clear guidelines and stigma associated with such high strangeness, Reister felt unable to report the incident to senior officers, stating, "Nothing was ever reported, because if you do, you might be considered mentally unstable and have your clearance and PRP status revoked." Journalist George Knapp has previously reported about similar events witnessed by personnel stationed at the reputed nuclear weapons facility known as Area 2 in Nevada. Like, how many UFO reports of these crafts disabling our nuclear facilities have to happen before you realize that this is not happening because these are visitors, right? If there were bombs going off, on halfway around the planet in some Muslim communities, right? No one in this country cares. No one gives a shit about stuff like that. But if there were bombs going off in your neighborhood, you might be concerned. Right? It's the same thing with underwater neighbors, right? They're concerned because we share this planet with them. If these aliens were from the future or another dimension or some, galaxy, several light years from here, they're not going to care whether we blow ourselves up or not, right? But if there are advanced alien beings living in the oceans and deep earth caverns on this planet, you damn well sure they're going to be monitoring us. It's like, the kids found the matches. Now we have to keep an eye on them. And that is what's going on. And I don't understand how some people find that, just so hard to accept. But we're not alone on this planet. Anyways, let's go to the last one here about these structures that were found on the moon. And of course, NASA tries to cover this stuff up. If you can just Google alien structures on the moon and the photos that NASA has released, I mean, it's obvious that they've done some real bad Photoshop job, on it, because, back then, back in the 60s and 70s, those technicians had no clue that people today, that ordinary people today would have access to software like Photoshop and all these other, image processing software that we can put these images through and clearly see if there was any editing done on them. A report titled Image Analysis of Unusual Structures on the Far Side of the Moon in the Crater Paracelsus, I think that's how you say that, C, published by the Society for Planetary Research, found mysterious structures on the backside or far side of the moon, and they may have been built by extraterrestrial aliens and are of not human origin. NASA insiders confirm artificial structures on the far side of the moon. Dr. John Brandenburg, a PhD in plasma physics, was involved in NASA Clementine mission to the moon, which not only found water on the moon's poles in 1994, but also that bases were built on the moon. He stated that he saw an image of a mile-wide retrolinear structure that looked unmistakably artificial and that it shouldn't be there. As someone in the space defense community, Dr. Brandenburg had great concern because it isn't ours. There is no way we could have built such a thing. It means someone else is up there. Yeah, and that someone else is most likely, right, our underwater neighbors, our advanced neighbors. Of course they have a base up there. Why wouldn't they, right? Again, we see them, right? Our astronauts see them when they're in space. Our astronauts see them in our atmosphere. They see them coming and going. So yes, their crafts go into space, but they're not necessarily from space. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. If you like things like this, please give this